Here are your Beyond the Gates spoilers for next week. Here's a look ahead at the episodes we'll see from Monday, August 11th to Friday, August 15th, 2025. At the Hamilton mansion, Dany sits on the couch with her arm reassuringly on Bill's shoulder. Bill has learned of Haley losing their baby, and he is absolutely crushed. As Dany comforts Bill, Haley walks into the room, rubbing her eyes, looks up, and sees that Dany has her hand on her husband's shoulder. Haley's inner voice is heard saying, "We've suffered a horrible loss. I mean, what other reason would Dany be here other than to express her sympathy?" Haley will be worried that any day, the other show will drop, and Bill will know the truth. But for now, can Haley stay one step ahead of her doubters? At the Fairmont Crest Country Club dining room, Vernon and Anita are sitting together enjoying a meal, when Ted walks in and informs them that Nicole has filed for divorce and that he has just received the papers. Shocking news for absolutely no one, other than Ted. It was hoped that Ted and Nicole would right the ship, but from here, it's not looking good. Anita tells Ted, "If you want to fix your marriage, fight for her. And quick, before Carlton gets his hooks in, and from the looks of the previous few episodes, the brother got game. Tomas takes Kat to Uptown for salsa night, and it's not going great. The two dance like a goat on a bicycle. For all of Kat's skills, learning Latin American dance isn't one of them. It looks painful, awkward, and clumsy." During a later conversation, Tomas is with Eva, and she tells him that dancing is supposed to be a vertical expression of a horizontal desire. And if that's the case, does Kat have any desire? Eva says to Tomas that learning a new dance can be scary. The two laugh, and Tomas says to Eva that it is crazy how she just gets him, to which Eva just smiles coyly. "Yeah, crazy," she says. These two have obvious chemistry that even the blind could see. This is an incredible sight to see at the brownstone. Martin, Smitty, Tyrell, and Samantha are sitting around the table together, playing cards. They are all laughing and having fun. Smitty slams what must have been the winning hand down on the table and triumphantly cheers. The whole room is lit up with fun. But good things come to an end. Naomi and Jacob visit, and they have some unsettling news. Naomi says, "We have found Samantha and Tyrell's biological mother. This is going to rock Smitty and Martin." But how did Naomi discover this? They weren't hired or instructed to find her? So this must be a connection to something or someone else that they have been searching for. June, her sister Regina? To wrap up the next week's sneak peek, who is this visitor and blast from the past? Leslie opens the door to her apartment, and who is the slightly older lady standing in front of her? Leslie sees this woman and exclaims, "Oh, my sweet baby Jesus, no!" This cannot be good if the WMD of Fairmont Crest herself isn't happy to see her. Stay tuned, soap fans. A heck of a week ahead of us, and so many moments of intrigue. After leaving very little of the Martin Nightmare storyline remaining, the next big thing is upon us. Hey babes! Welcome back to Gossip Delight. It's your girl Daisy, and trust me, today's tea is scorching, steamy, and absolutely unmissable. Buckle up, because we're diving straight into the drama. On Beyond the Gates, Naomi and Jacob played long-lost family and reunited June with her sister Regina. But the biggest reunion could be just around the corner. Jacob and his wife Naomi are good at this, tracking down long-lost family members. Using a phone number at the bottom of a photo that June treasures, she managed to trace it to a lady called Regina, who turned out to be June's sister. There was no happy reunion there, and Regina left Orphe Jeans and told Naomi and Jacob that she had tried this before and now gives up. "Don't call me again," she said as she left. Next week, the pair is at it again. But this time they are around at Martin's and Smitty's place, and they have unsettling news at best. They have found the biological mom of Martin and Smitty's adopted children, Samantha and Tyrell. But how on earth did this happen? They weren't given any information on where to start tracking her down, nor were they asked to. By deduction, then, they must have come across this person whilst investigating something else. The last thing Regina told them was that the two children were a boy and a girl, and that they were June's children that she had abandoned. The two kids, named Ron and Cecile, were put up into a foster home and then allocated in a closed adoption. With little information to go on, other than that the boy would be near college age, this must have started Naomi and Jacob on a mission, and using their combined connections, off they went. Did their investigation and trail lead them to Martin and Smitty's door? If so, then is June the mother of the two children? Ron and Cecile are Tyrell and Samantha? This revelation is vast and has far-reaching effects. Regina wants nothing more than to reconnect with the children. Will June wish to meet them? Martin and Smitty have some big decisions to make, but this could have the dual effect of getting them closer after Martin's secret drove a wedge between the couple. Stay tuned, soap fans. This coming week promises to deliver big. Here's what went down Friday, August 8th, 25, on Beyond the Gates. When Ashley got buyer's remorse before she was even out of the lot, Joey explored a different reality, and Haley told the Naomi the truth about her pregnancy. Or did she? On Beyond the Gates, Jan tracked down Derek, whose lean uptown meal was meant to help him prepare for a triathlon. Derek listened to Jan campaigning for him to reunite with Ashley. Jan wrote off Ashley's infatuation with Andre as FOMO. Although Derek had taken the hint Ashley had left by refusing his marriage proposal, Jan interpreted the action as fear and faulted herself for making Ashley too independent. Derek couldn't get past Ashley's interest in Andre and was almost grateful to him for helping him see he wasn't enough for his ex. When Derek reported that he had already tried multiple times to effect a reconciliation with Ashley, Jan became frustrated that Derek was giving up. Jan wanted Derek to act like the hero he was, since Andre was simply a fleeting moment. "Go get your girl," Derek's almost mother-in-law implored. Ashley exercised, but thoughts of Jan warning her about losing Derek permanently, and Andre pondering settling down competed for her attention. The caregiver exhorted herself to make a decision, then opened her door to find Derek on her step. Derek went over how Jan had got him thinking. People had a tendency to gloss over what they had in favor of what they didn't. He knew he didn't measure up to Andre in terms of his worldliness, but Derek was willing to learn and asked Ashley if he could still be her hero. The nurse was aware of what Derek and Jan wanted, but Ashley herself was torn. When she had finally gotten the stability that Derek had provided her, plus landed her dream job, she had only felt an urge to run. To Ashley, Andre represented a sense of wonder and not being closed off to new experiences. Derek retorted that he could introduce her to new things as well as Andre could, but Ashley related how they'd both been raised to be practical. She saw the value in choosing Derek. It was just that a big part of her wanted to buck those values and live a different way. Derek wanted Ashley to be sure about who she loved and conceded that he wasn't Andre. If Ashley chose Derek, he would put in the work to help Ashley realize her dreams. Yet, Derek couldn't continue waiting for her and gave her two choices: forever or never. Jan was still at Uptown when Derek returned, asking the firefighter if he and Ashley had set a wedding date. Derek stoically apprised Jan that there would never be a wedding because Ashley had chosen Andre. Bill explained that he had rushed to the hospital from the airport, only to find Haley had already left the facility. He was devastated to learn that Haley had lost their baby, but Naomi looked doubtful. When Bill was ready to rage at the ER for letting Haley go home so early, Haley whimpered that the doctors had done all that they could do. Defeated, Bill exited to make tea for his wife. Naomi questioned why Haley hadn't mentioned the miscarriage upon her arrival. Haley called marital privacy, but gulped when Naomi insisted that her former friend tell her if she actually had lied about having an ultrasound, and if Bill was mourning a baby that had never existed. Haley quietly confessed that she'd had no ultrasound, and that she had gone online to get the one she'd had printed for Bill. Naomi cried foul when Haley added that she really had been pregnant at one point. When Haley had gone to the hospital for the first scare, she couldn't face even the possibility of miscarrying, which a sonogram would have shown her. Bill had wanted to see results, which was why she'd given him fake ones. Naomi was silent while Haley sobbed that she might have been able to prevent losing Bill's child if she had just gotten the procedure done. Mrs. Hamilton said she hadn't been able to bring herself to inform Bill that there might be a problem with the baby while he was busy shopping for safe strollers. When Haley asked Naomi if she was going to tell her father about her neglect, Bill walked in with the tea, wanting to know what he should be told. Naomi covered, expressing genuine regret for the loss of her expected half-sibling. Haley smiled and mouthed, "Thank you." After Naomi left, Haley lamented that there was no more baby capable of bringing the family together, and Bill beat himself up for not being there in Haley's time of need. He hated to admit that some things were out of their control, like Haley losing the baby. He in no way held her responsible. Andre waited for Dany, thinking back to telling Ashley he knew what he wanted, and that he needed to have a conversation with Dany about it. Dany arrived upset, swearing she'd never meant Haley any harm. "There was so much blood," she cried. "I think I made Haley lose her baby." Andre couldn't believe, once Haley had emerged from the bathroom bleeding, that she would ride to the hospital with a stranger because she couldn't stand to be in the same car as Dany. Ms. Dupree had been certain that Haley was faking her pregnancy until that moment and wondered what she had done to her rival. Dany blamed herself for Haley's crisis and avowed that she'd never wish a miscarriage on any other woman. Andre imparted that the doctors could be saving Haley's baby as they spoke. Dany, knowing how it looked, decided that Bill was the only person she could get information from and put in a call to her ex-husband. Andre understood, and Dany fell apart when Bill sadly told her about Haley's miscarriage. Pacing Andre's apartment, Dany said she had felt justified in her hatred of Haley because she was the villain while Dany was the victim. But, Dany averred, her brand of vitriol had never resulted in someone getting hurt before. Andre didn't hold that Dany was the monster she labeled herself, or that somewhere deep down, Dany had wanted Haley's baby gone. He reminded Dany that Haley had started their fight, but Dany stopped herself when she threw her arms around Andre and berated herself for using him to make herself feel better, again. Andre commented that just because they were friends with benefits, that didn't mean they couldn't lean on each other as friends. Dany calmed down and inquired into why Andre had called her over. When Andre decided to table that subject, Dany intuited that Andre wanted to wait until she wasn't a hot mess. "When is that, Andre?" Dany asked, self-reflecting. Andre saw that Dany needed a breather after her ordeal with Haley and wanted Dany to see herself the way he did. Good at being bad, but also a good mother, sister, and friend. The photographer pronounced that Dany was the kind of woman who could make a man forget any other woman existed. "What would I do without you right now?" Dany wondered, her tears returning. Andre said she didn't have to find out. They began kissing right as Ashley came by. She ducked out, but Andre thought he heard something and broke his embrace with Dany. When Andre reckoned that it wasn't the right time for lovemaking, Dany saw the wisdom and said she probably shouldn't be using Andre as her emotional support hunk anyway. He agreed to hold her, since, after all, they were friends. At the casino, Joey couldn't say that he trusted Vanessa, but he did cop to enjoying her company more than anyone else's. Vanessa explained that she had neutralized Doug by reminding him that if he busted Joey for money laundering, Vanessa would be imprisoned as well. Joey had trouble believing that Vanessa still had any sway over Doug. After Vanessa took responsibility for her part in Doug's spiral, Joey announced that he wouldn't allow Doug to profit off their enterprise while threatening to destroy it. Vanessa was so adamant that she had Doug under control that Joey marveled that there was a woman in his life working in his best interests, not against them. Joey slipped that he didn't need the police involved in another investigation and sidestepped Vanessa's question about it. Vanessa allowed the pivot and proclaimed that she was not only protecting herself and Joey, but Doug. Armstrong sniffed that he had known a lot of Dougs and was amazed that Vanessa still cared about hers. If he'd had a different life, Joey projected, maybe one writing novels on a beach and spending forever with a woman like you, he wouldn't gamble that existence away the way Doug had his. Joey jeered that Doug had gone from a respected surgeon to a drunk living off his wife overnight. Vanessa countered that, while Doug couldn't control his vices, maybe because she hadn't been able to control hers, he was still a good man. That was why she had told Doug about Joey bugging his car. Doug had bought a new phone and called Randy from Orphe Jeans, only to hear Randy's phone going off in the diner. The doctor deemed his childhood friend insane for showing his face in town. Randy knew he was risking being discovered by Joey, but he had returned to take care of some quick business. Doug was tired of living under Joey's shadow and asked Randy if he would help him take the casino owner down. Randy thought Doug was crazy for proposing such a Hail Mary move. Doug concluded that he'd never be free from Joey without action and declared that Randy owed him for saving Randy's life. While Randy acknowledged that others had tried to eliminate Joey in the past, none of them had been left alive. And if Joey got nabbed for money laundering, he'd know it was Doug who busted him. Mr. McBride saw the point and didn't want Vanessa to end up in prison herself, so he suggested to Randy that they think bigger. Perhaps, Doug thought, murder was the option. Doug stunned Randy with the revelation that Vanessa had been sleeping with Joey. The surgeon admitted to thoughts of a permanent revenge on his nemesis, but instead wanted to task Randy with making Joey suffer. Randy didn't know how. Doug remembered that Joey had put out a hit on someone, with Randy as the gunman. Despite the target getting away alive, Doug reasoned that Randy going to the police about it would certainly lead to a corpse and get Joey sent up for murder one. Doug also noted that Joey would not leave a loose end like Randy dangling indefinitely, and urged his friend to get ahead of Joey instead. Randy chortled that Doug was still a newborn when it came to crime. Doug had skipped over the fact that Joey owned the cops. Doug recollected that he had managed to save Randy from Marcel and asked who else on the force was crooked. Randy didn't know, so Doug put forward the alternate idea of going to the district attorney. McBride reminisced how those in their old neighborhood used to call him a magician for turning himself into a surgeon. Doug figured he still had some miracles in him and offered to include Randy in this one, if Randy teamed up with him. Mr. Parker felt bad for his part in how Joey had set up Doug, and Randy fully comprehended what it was like to live in fear of Joey. Doug correctly deduced that Randy was in, but Randy was firm about them doing things his way. The fact that Joey had mic'd Doug's car gave them an advantage that they could use to pull Joey's strings. Joey was incensed to learn that Doug had learned about his surveillance from Vanessa. The realtor asserted that she had needed Doug to know the lengths Joey would go to so that Doug would ease off on his exposure threats. Vanessa then disclosed to Joey that she would never see Doug the same way after being with him, but that she also wanted Doug to continue living. Joey agreed not to stay mad at Vanessa, but stopped her seduction attempt, saying that one couldn't help who they loved, or, oftentimes, what that love made one do. Bill is devastated, and Naomi skeptical, as Haley says that she lost the baby. When Bill goes to make his wife, who manages to avoid revealing what doctor she supposedly saw at the hospital, Naomi asks the million-dollar question, "Is my dad mourning a baby that never existed in the first place?" Haley insists the baby was real, but she faked the ultrasound. Naomi doesn't buy what Haley's selling, so Bill's wife elaborates. Haley admits she was afraid to get an ultrasound because it might prove something was wrong with the baby. "If the doctor didn't say it, I wouldn't know it," she rationalized at the time. But now, she wonders if maybe having the ultrasound would have saved her child's life. Naomi agrees not to tell her dad, and, when he re-enters, she is as good as her word. Naomi leaves, and Bill takes his wife into his arms, reminding Haley this isn't her fault. Jan tracks down Derek and pushes him to reunite with Ashley. Andre be damned. She insists Ashley and Derek could be plucked right out of a Hallmark movie and urges him to fight for his woman. Derek does exactly that, heading over to Ashley's place, hoping for another shot at being her hero. "I may not come from money or come from some glamorous background, but I can still give you experiences," he promises. "I'll never be him, but I promise you this. I will work every day to give you your dream. Because Ashley, you are mine, but I won't keep doing the back and forth thing." He has just one question for her. What's it going to be, forever or never? Later, he returns to Uptown and tells Jan that her daughter chose Andre. Andre is preparing his "I want more than you're willing to give" so a speech when Dany arrives, freaking out. Why? "I think I caused Haley to lose her baby." She calls Bill to get an update and learns her worst fear has come to pass, and Haley is no longer pregnant. Reeling, Dany declares, "I'm a monster!" Andre refuses to believe that she really wanted this to happen on some level, as Dany insists. "This is not your fault," he intones, reminding Dany that Haley came looking for her and picked a fight. Dany throws herself into his arms, then pulls away, realizing how selfish she is being. "I keep crossing the line between wanting you and needing you," she realizes. "It cannot be take every time we're together." They begin kissing, oblivious to Ashley letting herself in and, upon seeing them together, leaving again. Ironically, the moment Ash is gone, Andre and Dany separate. She refuses to use him as an emotional support hunk. But he agrees to hold her all night, because, hey, that's what friends do, right? Vanessa assures Joey that his Doug problems are a thing of the past, admitting that she told her husband about the bug in his car. Of course, what she doesn't know is that at that moment, her hubby is meeting with Randy/Sammy, insisting they need to deal with the casino boss. Realizing he can't expose the money laundering without Vanessa winding up behind bars, Doug suggests they aim higher, like leading the police to connect Kenneth's death directly to Armstrong. Randy says they're going to do this his way. For once in his life, Joey Armstrong won't see what's coming for him. On Beyond the Gates, we are on a roller coaster of emotions between Andre, Dany, Derek, and Ashley. How can they ever sort out the mess that was created today? Will the guy ever get the girl, the right girl for him that is? Today was more up and down than a bull rider at the rodeo. Jessian, played by Jerry Tubbs, was at Uptown trying to convince Derek not to give up on Ashley. Jan told Derek that she had just come from Ashley's house, and they had been talking. All the reasons she was given for why she couldn't be with Derek sounded like bull, and that she was just scared. "Be the hero and get your girl," she told Derek. He finished his protein smoothie and went off into the night to get the girl. Ashley was surprised to see Derek at her doorstop, but let him in anyway. The conversation was a little awkward, and Derek decided it was time to pony up and just tell her how he felt. But that the back and forth they were doing felt like he was losing a part of himself, and this was going to be the last time he did it. Derek laid bare his heart and told Ashley she was all he wanted, that he wasn't like Andre and didn't have his money, but could still make her dreams come true. Derek promised to work hard every day to make her dreams a reality, and it was at that point that he should have stopped and realized that he wasn't meeting her in the middle, but that he was going all the way and getting nothing in return. Ashley wasn't saying anything that would give the guy any confidence. He told Ashley it was time to choose sides. Was it going to be him or Andre? Derek left the apartment and went back to Uptown, where he found Ashley's mom still there propping up the bar. Jan asked him how it went, and he stopped her and said there wasn't going to be a wedding, ever. She chose Andre. That look on Derek's face, are we going to see a dark Derek? I'm so here for that. Ever since Derek and Ashley started having troubles, Derek has become a character I can't wait to see. He's stronger, more self-assured, and ready to take on the world. Ashley, having made her decision, decided now was the time to see Andre and tell him that she had chosen him and wanted to be with him. Ashley went straight to Casa de Andre. Of course, the front door was unlocked. Beyond the Gates is a soap, and Ashley opened the door, ready to tell her man that they could be together. Ashley opened the door, and the first thing she saw was Andre and Dany Dupree locked in an embrace, passionately kissing as she undressed him. Ashley looked aghast, and then crushed as she shut the door firmly and left. The bang from the door stopped Andre and Dany, but he had no idea what had just happened. Dany asks Andre if he could just hold her tonight. She didn't want to be alone. Andre, of course, said for sure, they're friends. Ashley rebuked Derek, but Andre was kissing Dany. Andre doesn't know that Ashley was there and wants to be with her. What a mess. And that, soap fans, is why we love this show. How on earth can this be resolved? Leave a thought below in the comments. Beyond the Gates spoilers, note that the CBS Soaps preview for the week of August 11 to 15 was just released, and it looks like Haley Hamilton will catch Bill Hamilton and Dany Dupree in a moment, while Nicole Richardson will officially file for divorce. The promo starts off with Haley walking into her living room in her robe, catching Dany consoling a very distraught Bill. The voiceover is Haley's telling someone that, "We've suffered a horrible loss. What other reason would Dany be here than to express her sympathy?" It looks like Dany is doing just that. However, the look on Haley's face implies she's far more jealous than she should be, considering Dany is simply rubbing Bill's back in the clip. As the video progresses, Ted Richardson is completely panicked as he's telling Anita Dupree and Vernon Dupree that Nicole has filed for divorce. Anita then advises him that if he wants to fix his marriage, he has to fight for her. As the scenes shift within the BTG preview for the week of August 11th, the next clip is one of Catherine "Cat" Richardson awkwardly dancing with Thomas Navarro at Uptown, and Ms. Cat has a sour look on her face. Her voice can be heard saying, "That was supposed to be a vertical expression of a horizontal desire." The next scene shows Eva Thomas at Uptown with Thomas at a table as she tells him how scary it can be, learning a new dance. He exclaims, "It's crazy how you just get me." She retorts with, "Yeah, just crazy." Elsewhere, Bradley, Smitty Smith, Martin Richardson, and their kids, Tyrell Richardson and Samantha Richardson, are at home, enjoying a fun game of cards. It looks like the foursome is finally back together, enjoying some family time. As the scenes shift, Naomi Hawthorne and Jacob Hawthorne arrive at their house as she tells the couple that they've found Tyrell and Samantha's biological mother. Martin and Smitty look completely caught off guard, and it's not hard to see that the woman Naomi is referring to is likely June. As the promo winds to a close, the last scene shows Leslie Thomas opening the door of her apartment to see an older woman with a frown on her face. Leslie is utterly floored at seeing the person in front of her. So who could this woman be? Beyond the Gates, spoilers hint that the lady has yet to arrive on canvas. So could she be Leslie's mom? If Leslie is unhinged, how toxic will her mother be? Ordinarily, when a woman suffers a miscarriage, she is offered compassion. But not beyond the Gates Haley, perhaps because we all know that Bill's wife was faking being pregnant in the first place. And in the wake of her loss, detailed in Thursday's recap, fans are calling for her head. On Soaps.com's Facebook page, Carmen Inez Perez said that, "Obviously, Haley had a plan from the moment she saw Bill. Somebody needs to investigate her. Thoroughly." Yvonne Durant cracked, "How can you lose what you never had?" And Novon Griffin marveled, "Did y'all see the look on Haley's face when she saw Bill come in the door? She played that lie off good." Vera Christopher was so done with Haley, she was like, "Okay, it's time for Dany to bust this wide open. I'm getting my popcorn. Ours is already popped." Obviously, when Bill finds out what the audience already knows, that Haley is a lying liar, he'll pull the plug on his marriage and kick the gold digger to the curb. What will be really interesting to see is what happens after that. Dany swears she's over her ex, but come on, that's as big a lie as the baby one that Haley told. Would Dany gravitate back toward Bill, from whom she can't seem to stay away anyhow? BTG. Spoiler alert, here are your Beyond the Gates spoilers for the week of Monday, August 11th to Friday, August 15th, 2025. Be sure to tune in to CBS every weekday to see how everything plays out in Fairmont Crest. Devon Winters has a mind-blowing proposition for Anita. Dany extends an apology to Haley. Bill gets emotional about all that he's lost. Andre lays his heart on the line. Samantha schemes to help Martin and Smitty reconcile. Jacob solves a mystery. Leslie investigates a peculiar correspondence. Eva's frustrated by her mother's latest antics. Kat and Tomas do their best to find their rhythm during salsa night. Tyrell and Samantha are blindsided. Chelsea bluntly makes her boundaries clear to Allison. Ted is thrown for a loop by Nicole's latest move. Naomi preps a nervous June for a momentous meeting. Leslie receives a blast from the past at her doorstep. Anita and Vernon comfort their daughter Andre, and his uncle discuss their relationship woes, while Vanessa helps Nicole and Dany prop each other up. Ashley and Madison deal with a major medical crisis. The Articulates are asked to plan for their future now that they have reconciled with their past. BTG casting news. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.